up, loyal Cubs fans? Dave here, and don't have a game to report today. Cubs did have an off day on Thursday, August 9th, coming off a disappointing loss versus Kansas City, but they did win 2 out of 3, so they did win the series. Some people were freaking out because we lost 9-0 yesterday. It kind of escalated quickly. Quintana had that bad seventh inning. It was from 2-0, and then you bring in Chatwood, gives up another 4. It is what it is with Chatwood. I guess they're going to kind of hide him in the bullpen, see if they can change him next year. But Brewers did lose earlier today. San Diego, how about those bats? I mean, people are critical of the Cubs only splitting against San Diego 2-2 in a 4-game series. But San Diego did help us and beat the Brewers 2 out of 3. They've been hitting very well, scoring a lot of runs. I think they're averaging like over 5 runs a game. They hit a grand slam. They scored like 6 runs in the 9th to beat the Brewers or something crazy like that. So Cubs are 2 games ahead in the division. Still a lot of baseball left, like 7 weeks or so. They still play the Brewers like 6 more times, and they play the Pirates like 8 more times, or still a lot of games, a lot of baseball left, a lot of division games left. This month is supposed to be on paper the easier schedule. We did beat the Royals 2 out of 3, only beat the Padres 2 out of 4. Hasn't quite went the way we were hoping that we'd get even a bigger lead, but we're still ahead in the division by 2 games, and we played 4 games less than the Brewers. So Cubs do control their destiny. They still have a lot of key players that are on the DL. They're hoping by September get a Darvish, hopefully an effective Darvish back. Hearing good things about him. Granted, it's bullpen sessions or practicing against like Caratini and La Stella. Tell you, La Stella's a hard out. So hearing Darvish has been doing well. You have guys like Smiley rehabbing, Chris Bryant. Don't forget about him. I know Bote's doing really well. But keep in mind, as great of a year as Javier Baez is having, Bryant did even better when he was MVP 2016. I know we probably shouldn't expect him to do that well this year. It's been kind of a tough year with shoulder injuries, but he still hit 276 with a 380 on base percentage. If he can do that well, get some power numbers back, he'll be an asset to the team. Definitely. And so that's where Cubs are at. There were some rumblings that they may shift their rotation around. I didn't know if that meant they had other starters coming up, but I don't see that happening because there's been no rehab starts like Darvish or Smiley, unless they trust like an Iowa call-up and they're not really pushing the issue. They hit the waiver wire. I don't know. I just don't see a whole lot happening till September, till rosters expand. But we'll see. There was kind of some rumblings because they're off Thursday today and then Monday that you can kind of have some flexibility with the rotation. But the latest report is, as we go into play Washington Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's going to be Hendricks and then Lester and then Hamels, which is normal rotation. And then we're off on Monday. So if things went as scheduled, then you're looking at Montgomery and Quintana again. And so that wouldn't be anything different. I guess you have flexibility. I don't know if you can put in Lester or Hendricks again to see what happens. I was almost wondering, you play a 2-game series against Milwaukee, and some people act like that's going to decide a division winner. Still too many games. I mean, it would help if Cubs beat them both. It gives them a bigger lead, but it's still a long way from over. You still have at least over 6 more weeks of baseball left. That it's still a long ways from over in the division. So, they could still go at Montgomery and Quintana. Montgomery has done really well the last 2 times. Gave up like 1 run and 0 runs, quality starts. Quintana was looking decent. His second inning was bad, gave up 2 runs, but he got through 6 with 2 runs, and then Madden kind of forced the issue with this low pitch count, and he gives up a single, a hit, and a home run. Things went from good to horrible. Box score, it's going to show he gave up 5 runs in 6 1/3 innings. So that was a disappointing finish. Things escalated very quickly. For some reason, that seems to happen with Quintana, where 3rd, 4th time in the lineup, most starting pitchers struggle at that point, but his been pretty off the charts. He'll kind of make an interesting decision if Darvish does come back. We could go with the 6-man rotation. You have the rosters expand if it's September. Or do you stick with a 5-man rotation? And does Quintana go in the pen? Sounds weird. He's not used to it. You would think it'd be a guy like Montgomery. We have all these left-handers. You bring in Darvish as a right-hander. You have it more of a 2 right-hander, 3 lefty mix. It's kind of bizarre. Right now we have 4 left-handers. But for the most, at least the last 3 games, the starters have done well. If you ignore the 7th inning of Quintana, our starters have been going 6 innings plus. That's very good for the bullpen. Then you can even hide Chatwood. Right now, I think it's just kind of a business decision to hide Chatwood, because if you put him on the waiver wire, are teams really going to be interested? If you can get him to be more productive or something, maybe we only can eat up half his salary, make a trade. I don't know. You hope he gets better. You're paying the guy $38 million for 3 years, no matter what his performance is. So it is disappointing to say the least, but every team has at least one bad contract. Just sometimes things don't work out. It is a risk of free agency. Beginning of the year, I was hoping we'd only get 1 starting pitcher, and then let's may the best man win in Iowa. That earns a spot for Chicago. And what I like about that is if they struggle, you bring up someone else. And it's not so, oh crap, we're on the hook for 3 years, 12, 13 million. But we went into a different direction, and it is what it is, so we just have to deal with it. But anyway, Cubs are up 2 games. Thanks for San Diego being able to beat Milwaukee today. And like I said, we played 4 less games in Milwaukee. So if we can even win 3 of those games, get the lead even be bigger. But it's going to be till the last week of September until we're even games with Milwaukee. And then who knows what can happen if there's rainouts. But eventually all the games will be made up, and whoever's the best after 162 games will win the division. And whoever's the second best, like I was thinking, if Cubs were to slip out of first, they're like 3.5 games ahead of the Dodgers, and that's going in right now. Dodgers are winning, but all the division races, like Arizona is like a half a game better than the Dodgers, so they could be tied after tonight. Very close division. I think Philadelphia is leading their division. You have Atlanta, and Atlanta takes on Milwaukee this weekend. So that's going to be very interesting to see what happens. You have a quality Atlanta team. Hopefully they can help the Cubs out. And Cubs have to take care of business. I know a lot of people say, don't worry about the other teams. Cubs need to take care of business. Well, part of baseball is hoping your other division teams lose, because you can't expect to win them all. And I know Cubs playing around 500 balls since All-Star break isn't where you want to be at as you go into playoffs. So hopefully they get it going. Washington, we're up against Max on Sunday. That's going to be a challenge, but I'll tell you, all 3 games, you get into the bullpen, and their bullpen's having a lot of issues right now. And That's where Cubs have been having a lot of success most games. Some games, like, you're like, what the heck happened? I thought these guys were good. But that's where Cubs can do a lot of damage, get those bats going. I mean, we are averaging 5 runs a game for a reason. Sometimes people forget that because maybe we score 10 runs one game and then we get 1 run. Yesterday, somehow we get shut out against the worst team, the Royals, on paper. But sometimes the law of averages catch up to you. You know, the bats are going good and then things go terrible. So, I don't know. I know I've been kind of critical on Happ, even though his on-base percentage is good. What frustrates me is he seems to be more willing to take strike 3 looking, even if it's a borderline call, then just hit it. Just swing for it. You can't just depend on the ump to give you the call a lot of times. And I don't know. And Elmore, he was in a little bit of slump, but even when he's not hitting, his defense can save a run or two. I am thankful that they haven't played Happ at third base in a while because he made some errors. Bote's been a lot better, or you put Bias there, you know, as Chris Bryant's out of the lineup. I think that's the solution, and I think that's what Madden's been doing, so I like that. So I hope they continue to do so. But I don't know. Sometimes Madden still looks at the lefty-righty matchups, and he's like, well, Happ can bat both ways. But Elmore, being a righty, he's done pretty well against righties. He's not just dominating against left-handers. And, you know, he's been on fire all but like maybe 2 weeks. And he's been getting some hits again, but haven't liked how he's been on the bench the last 2 games. So hopefully he'll get the start Friday afternoon. We have a good weekend against the Nationals and get this lead even bigger. Go Cubs, go.